Hi, I'm David. Welcome to a live analog mastering session. So the point of this video today is to just basically take you through what it is we do when we do an analog mastering session. Mastering in this instance is a bit different to stem mixing, which is when we get, say, 6 or 7 stems from a producer and mix them in the box. When we do that, we then record it out and master the actual whole tune. So that's the latter part of the process that we're going to look at. Now we can master in the box. Obviously you can use your limiters and EQs and dynamic effects to master in the box, but it's really nice to come out sometimes and get the sound of the analog gear. What does that sound like? Well, we're about to find out. Just want to point you out what's going on here. This is effectively our sound card. It's a fancy sound card. It's the Burl Mothership. It's a really nice way to come out of your computer through some high-end D to A and then A to D converters. So we basically, the computer's hooked up, we come out, and then we go through all the analog gear, and then we come back in and record through the Burl. Now, apart from being high-end A to D and D to A converters, they are also, each card features not only the chip for the conversion process, but also a saturator, an analog transformer, I should say, which gives us nice analog style saturation. Think of old school tape saturation. So just going out and recording through something like that is really nice. What's going on here on the left is that the top 3 units, the bottom one here, that guy is an EQ. Basically we're going to go and get some really nice analog EQ, and then we've got the SSL Fusion, which is a really nice colouring unit. It gives us a nice little bit of colour, a bit of drive. It's got some other nice little features in it, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And then we're going to finish up going through the Manley compressor. It's a Manley NuMu, which is effectively optical style, transparent, gluey compression, and a tube sound. So let's have a go and let's listen to what difference running through some nice analog gear makes. Okay, so here we are. We've got a track from Banovsky, aka Leroy Amphlett. He's a DJ here at Melbourne's Revolver. He's also a tutor at the School of Synthesis, takes the DJ class and the machine class. And here he's come up with a track called Version, which he's going to release. He sent it over to me and asked if we can make it sound a little bit more polished, which we're aiming to do with the mastering gear. So if we just have I'll let it loop around one of the main sections. I'm going to explain what's happening here firstly. That's the original track that we're looking at up here. And then we've got the live recording channel. So think of it as that's coming out the Burl, one output of the Burl, and that's coming in through another input of the Burl, okay? And this is the live reading on the settings that we've got. Now I'm just going to point out a couple of things. Let's go over here to the outboard gear. We are going to go through the EQ, then we're going to go through the solid state fusion, and then we're going to go through the Manley compressor. So EQ, color, compression. It's a typical processing chain which I like to employ in the box, out the box, and that's how the gear is set up. And I think this is the best stuff for the Banovsky tune. So a couple of things I want to point out here. This unit is exactly the same as the unit you're seeing here on the screen. This is purely a digital controller. The lovely thing about the Bettermaker is it allows for recall because it has 2 power transformers, an analog power transformer and a digital power transformer. So never the twain shall meet. The controls from in the box only control these dials and knobs on the front, but the analog passage is pure. So let's have a look. I'll give you an example just so you can see what I'm doing. When I'm disengaging and clicking here or moving things around here, you can see it when I'm actually moving it from inside the computer. You can see it controlling it. There you go. Okay, so let's start our mission off. Let's engage the EQ. I'm going to start by turning on the high pass filter. Okay. Now, where do we need to high pass or low cut at? Lots of people have many different theories. I think 30 hertz is a safe place. It just gets rid of any potential low-end woof or rumble that you may not be able to hear because your speakers don't go down that low. I've made the mistake mastering for a Carl Cox album of going up to 37, I think it might have been, for his All Roads Lead to the Dance Floor album, and then being with him on tour and hearing on the dance floor that actually it was too drastic a cut. 37 hertz, you wouldn't think it's much, but if you're going to be playing it out on big rigs that can go down to 30 hertz, you'll notice that a lot of the other tunes weren't cut. So there was an energy or a power lacking, so we brought that low cut down to 30 hertz. So yeah, 30 hertz, good place to low cut your tunes at. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this EQ here, and what I generally tend to do is find a point that's a little bit annoying or a low mid area. I like to separate my bass to my top, and I believe this is a good way to do it. Very common technique in mastering. So what we do is we turn up and we look for something we don't like, effectively. And what you're generally looking for is something inharmonic. That is something that's not part of the scale of this tune. That sounds a bit woolly to me, so I'm going to just duck out 0.5. You wouldn't even notice it, but overall, all these contributing factors make a difference. Out, in, not much at this stage. Okay, let's turn on this Pultec style EQ, okay? PEQ in, Pultec style EQ. And what a Pultec EQ is, without going into too much detail, is it gives you the opportunity to cut and boost around the same area. So changing the linearity of the shelf. These are shelving filters or high shelf and low shelf filters. It boosts up the top end and the bottom end, okay? If I was to maybe give you a quick example of what that means in the box, you know, that's boosting the top and using a shelf down here. Yeah. Generally, I tend not to try and do this in the box in mastering. I like to do it out the box. There's a larger dynamic range. So okay, I'm gonna start with, let's start with the top end, shall we? 6,000 hertz and above. Now you hear me be stupid just so you can hear it. Yeah, okay. I think you could do with a bit of a boost there. So I'm gonna go probably about 3 dB. I've got a trick when it comes to EQing. Put it where you think it sounds good and halve it. Yeah, everything sounds good in isolation. Everything sounds good the first time you do it. I halve things. I just learnt not to suck the life out of mixers by pushing things too far. 3.5 dB. And I'm going to cut by about 2.4 dB around the same area. Let's not worry about that. I'm just changing. What I'm doing there is to give you another example, I'm changing the linearity. Okay, so it's effectively, imagine I'm kind of doing this, and I'm saying that shelf is too much, so I'm going to add another. I don't have another shelf here, but just to give you an example, I'm going to kind of, change the linearity. There you go. That's probably giving you a better indication. See how I'm changing the way the boost goes up? Yeah, I think it's a good example there. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go for bottom end. Where am I going to boost? The tune's pretty bassy. I think he's got the bottom end quite right. If I be stupid here and find where I think is nice. So actually, one of the nice things about this Pultec style EQ is it's really boosting an octave above. So 30 hertz, it's actually boosting around 60 hertz. That's fine. I'm going to be subtle here because it's already quite bassy. Give it 2.7 and cut by 1 dB. So boosting by 2.7 again, changing that linearity. Yeah, same thing, but this time what I was effectively doing there was shelving like that, and then using another shelf, which this is not, but I'm just trying to give you a kind of an indication of what I'm doing. Yeah, just you can see the top linearity changes. Yeah, so that's effectively what a Pultec style EQ is doing. Okay, EQ out. Yeah, so you can see already nice boost. I've still got plenty of room here. Don't forget your LUFS levels, peak. We've still got plenty of room to drive. Let's go to our colouring unit. This is really going to boost up the volume and the perceived volume overall. Okay, so this is an SSL Fusion, really nice unit, fantastic company SSL. I'm not going to bother with the high pass filter because I've already got one engaged here. Let's drive it up a little bit. I'm just going to turn my monitoring volume up so I can hear better what I'm doing. Okay, that's being stupid. Nice, and you can change the density or the frequencies that are being distorted, if you like. Yeah, nice. SSL EQ, do I need it? We've already got the shelving filters here, but I love the SSL Air. I'm not going to worry about the bottom end. I reckon it's pretty right here. Let's go 20 hertz and above, get that air. Yeah, that's nice for Leroy. I think you could do with some top end shine. Now, high frequency compressor, unique to the Fusion, is really good. You turn it on, play with your threshold. So just like a compressor, you know that you're getting some gain reduction, but it's only doing the top end set to this point. Well, considering I boosted 6 and above, that's where I'll put the crossover. It just takes some of the top end fizzle out, if you like. Stereo imaging, really nice. Space and width. Space refers mainly to the bottom end here. Width, you can hear the top end. Just listen and watch it go wide if you've got good stereo speakers. It's quite a nice trick. Back to 0, and I'll go back up full. Yeah, now I'm not going to be stupid. I'm just going to add a nice bit of width there. Okay, there's a spare transformer, just because they're nice over at SSL, those guys. I'm going to turn that on. Probably getting a little bit of top end sheen at the expense of a little bottom end bass and sub, and because they've always got plenty, I'm not really worried. Now, I've been doing this with the compressor on the whole time, you may or may not have noticed, and you're actually getting 1 dB of gain reduction. It's pretty straightforward. The compressor's pulling it down a little bit. You can see this is the threshold. If I turn this off, there's no compression. And if I turn it on, lots of compression. You can hear that it's almost not making any difference. So if I really want to drive the tune, I just put more compression on, but I'm just trying to get the lick of the Manley here. So I just want a little bit. Yep, that sounds about right. Okay, that's cool. How am I looking volume-wise? Over here back in the unit? Well, okay, good. The same volume, effectively. Let's have a look at these peak meters. They're pretty much the same. Is it making a difference? First, I'm going to have a look at the recorded level. Am I okay? 0 dB? Good. Yeah. Negative RMS sitting between -9 and 12. The LUFS we can't tell at the moment because we've got to play through the whole tune, remember to get LUFS. But if I do, I reckon we're going to be pretty close to -14, -13. So this will be loud on streaming services. And I know that's Leroy's primary aim, but as a DJ, he's going to want to play it. So I want to give him one master that works for everything. Let me bypass everything. And you'll hear, I mean, if I bypass the compressor first and I bypass the EQ and the color, yeah, massive difference. Let me try all 3. And in. Yeah, it's a massive difference. I mean, you can hear that. Same peak volume, but just the perceived increase in volume, EQ, and dynamics is fantastic. I'll cut everything out again. Yeah, that's the nice sound of analog gear.